Hello, Facebook family, Facebook friends, Facebook world. So I got a very special treat for you guys today. I'm going to be cooking a dish that I think, besides sandwiches, this was the first thing I learned how to make. Also, a disclaimer, this dish probably made me gain about 30 to 40 pounds in one summer. So it's delicious, and you're going to want to eat a lot of it. But if you do, you might get chunky. So we're making chilaquiles. Say it with me. Chilaquiles. It is a word. It's real. It's not made up. So it's really good. Essentially, it is stir-fried pieces of tortilla, right? You let them get a little bit crunchy, not super crunchy like chips, but just a little crunchy, a little crispy, and then you just pretty much pour salsa into it. Let it simmer for a little bit, right? And then you're done, and it's delicious. Okay, and then you can top that with whatever you want. I'm gonna top mine with a fried egg and a little bit of Mexican cheese, and I'm gonna be good with that. Quick note: some people might confuse this dish with another one called migas. Migas traditionally is the stir-fried tortilla again, but they mix in egg with the tortilla. So chilaquiles don't have that egg mixed in. The ingredients are pretty simple. We need some tortillas, right? How many? I don't know. How many do you want to eat? We also need some stuff to make salsa. I'm gonna do homemade salsa. So tomatoes, jalapenos, and seasoning. That's all I'm gonna put in it. If you want to get fancy, you can get fancy. And if you want to be lazy, go out and buy some salsa. And my toppings, like I mentioned, I'm going to just be using Mexican cheese, queso fresco, and I might put some avocado slices on the side just to be a little bit healthy, because this is a really unhealthy dish. We're going to get started, so preparing our tortillas. So you can get fancy and cut these up. I'm not. I'm just going to tear them up. Look at that. About this size. Here it is in comparison to me. Tortilla, me. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be too pretty. It's gonna taste delicious. If you wanna be a little fancier and not rip it up, you can always use a knife. It is actually faster and easier this way. I don't know why, but there's something about just getting your hands in there and touching the food that I like. Even though, yes, you can cut it, I like to just tear it up. There's my little pile of tortillas that I'm going to use. So now it's time to start frying these on the pan. All right, so the oil is ready. Tortillas are in. And pretty much we're just going to let them get all nice and crispy. We'll stir it every few minutes. You can go ahead and season this. I'm only going to season this slightly because I'm also going to season my salsa. And I'm going to add a little bit more oil because the oil that was in there has been dried up. Look at that. Ideally, that's what you want. You hear that? Nice and crispy. For my salsa, I'm going to use 3 tomatoes and just 2 jalapenos. I don't think these are going to be that spicy. I hope they're not going to be that spicy. But if they are, well, that's a risk I am willing to take. If you've never made homemade salsa before, it's really easy. Ingredients in a blender. And then, you guessed it, you're going to blend it. Alrighty. So for about this much of tomatoes and jalapenos, I'm going to put water up to here. Alright, water. This should make for some type of a runny salsa. I don't want a chunky salsa for this, right? Because I'm stir frying my my tortillas, I want this to be able to run smoothly and penetrate all the nooks and crannies of the tortillas. If it's too chunky, it's just pretty much going to sit on top. How much seasoning? Till it tastes good. Alrighty, nice and blended. Woo! That's good. A little bit more salsa. I mean, a little bit more salt though. All right, y'all. So my tortillas are getting crispy. They're not quite done yet. So I would like to take this time and talk a little bit about this dish. This dish is one of those that is a classic. And because it's a classic, people have particular ways of doing it. And everybody thinks that their way is the best. I'm going to tell you right now, my way is the best. Okay, just kidding. My way is not the best. Remember, cooking is all about just being creative and seeing what you like. Some people make this dish very dry. So, they have their tortillas and then they have their salsa. They let it simmer all the way until there's no more salsa left and it just leaves a dry pile of tortillas. That's how some people like it. Cool, right? I particularly don't like it like that. I like mine just a little bit runny, not super dry. Also, I don't like it when my tortillas simmer that long because it makes the tortillas soggy. Hello, if I'm going to take the time to fry these tortillas in the skillet to make them crispy, I want to taste the crispy, okay? So I like it a little crispy. Some people don't. Some people like it really soft. It turns into kind of like a lasagna texture. I don't like that, okay? Garnish is another big thing that people do differently. I keep mine basic, right? Just I like to put a fried egg on top, a little bit of cheese, and call it good. It's delicious that way. But you can serve this with beans, anything that you want, really. All right, at this time, salsa's going in. I'm going to let it simmer a little bit. Alrighty. Now at this point, I'm going to also do my fried egg because my chilaquiles are about 95% done already. Alright, so we're going to serve this now. Here is how the final product looks. Look at that. If you've never had this before, you don't know what you're missing out on. And if you have had this before, then you know how good of a meal I am about to have. Let's give this a taste, shall we? Really good. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's crunchy. That's how I like it. It's crunchy and it's moist. It's not dry. Look at that. I got a little bit of egg, a little bit of my chilaquiles, tomato, avocado. So also this dish, you can pretty much eat it whenever. However, I traditionally only ate it for breakfast. This was a Mexican breakfast that my mom used to make us. And deliciousness level, I would say it's on par with huevos rancheros. They're both really good. Like my video, share my video. If you don't like this one, I'll make another one going like that one. Oh, I forgot. One of my friends, shout out to Ruth Flores, my friend. She gave me a ton of bison meat. So I'm going to look up some bison meat recipes and I'm going to start making some awesome bison meat dishes. So stay tuned for that, probably later on this week, maybe next week. All right.